Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. I know I am. Thanks for coming along to the North Melbourne Intraclub game. We won't be doing this for all of them, but just for today, I'm pretty happy to see the boys and show off kind of what they're doing. A lot of things happening. There's a lot of things happening at the club. I know they've got some VFL people coming on, so it won't be the full teams, but it'll be pretty close. I've looked at the team sheets and it seems pretty even so far. So hope you guys are here and hope you can enjoy the ride as well. Yo, what's happening, Joe? They've got food vans, they've got all sorts happening at North Melbourne. I can't hear you. You're muted.
You got food vans?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Bit of Riley beverage action this morning as well. There's Cunnington with the bald head, number 10.
Yes.
Let's go. I've looked at the team sheets. It seems fairly even, but I think the blue team kind of has a few more AFL listed players in it. But then guys like Goldstein, who you'd think were top 8. I'm thinking ladder position. Guys like Goldstein, who are who should be main group people, are actually playing on the other team. So I think they're trying to even things out a little bit that way.
Yeah, I think I also noticed that they had CCJ playing for the yellow team as well.
I think there's a few of the AFL listed guys there too.
Yeah, Drury's on the yellow team as well. But they did say that during the game they could swap. We could see a swapping of players between teams. So hopefully we get to see what Drury looks like on the blue team. Give us some hope. But who are you looking for today? I'm looking really closely at Zeeble. I want to see what role Zeeble has to play, and I want to see how much mid-time Cunnington has.
Yeah. You watch him. He's going to line up at the first centre bounce here. You watch.
Well, I can see the bald head from here. It appears he is at the first centre bounce. Definitely very good. I'd love to see how much time he really has in that midfield. Cunnington is one of those players. It's really, I don't know, man. For that price point, you really got to nail it.
Hey, and guess who's right in the middle already?
Got Cam Zurhaar, baby.
No, number 10 on the left.
I know. I'm joking.
No,
I'm messing
with it.
Oh, good opening down.
Out of the game.
Oh, nice tackling pressure right off the bat.
Yeah. A lot of players here fighting for their positions.
Was that holding the ball?
Yep.
Gee, that was stiff.
Yeah, I know. North Melbourne and umpires, they don't like us very much, even in the intra-club games.
My goodness. Well, that means there should be no free kicks paid anywhere. If they really don't like you guys. You're both playing for the same team.
They don't even do the scoring. They just leave it. That's it.
North Melbourne versus North Melbourne. They'll still find a way to bloody lose, won't they?
Oh, man.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
All right, Jay.
All right.
Yes. Cunnington. Oh, I love it. Where's Zeeble?
And Paul Curtis.
Very nice.
Boy, that was a shocker.
Look, the intention was there. Zurhaar, you bull. What is this? If this is a sign of what's to come with your defensive efforts, how is he?
This is the B team defense, right?
Holy
This isn't the A team defense.
My goodness. Well,
there's a reason why it's in the club and not like a main game versus the Richmond that we've got in a couple of weeks. So there's still some time, Joe.
Fair enough. First play of the game. Nice conversion. Well done. North Melbourne Kangaroos.
Yeah, tried to get pinched from St Kilda too. Hey guys, thanks for joining on. We've got 7 people on the stream, which is fantastic. If you want, you can post some comments in the chat and they'll pop up on here, and then we can feature them and answer some questions as well. We're here for a couple of hours while the stream's on, so feel free to ask any questions about anybody, and we'll get back to you.
Unfortunately, if one of the questions is how shit is North Melbourne, I won't be able to answer that question.
That's a bit unfair.
I always love pulling your leg, Big J, honestly.
Oh, man.
So I know number 28 normally is Kane Turner, but I don't think that was the guy who kicked the goal. Was that Cherry?
Yeah, Cherry kicked the goal in the front. There they go. Cunnington, handball from the middle again. Yep. There's a couple of people who have some numbers and some that don't. They were explaining at the start, just kind of showing some of the things that were happening. Players moving teams and whatever. But right now, that guy's Kane Turner. I think he set up the goal, if not kicked it before.
Lucky. I think Larky will be really happy this year. I mean, he's finally got some more support. If your tall timber can stay healthy.
I think just having a better midfield as well that can deliver the ball to the forward line, it's going to make a big difference for him.
Oh, Cunnington tackle. Oh no, free against. Oh no. But it's all right. It's not what you're looking for here today, and with all of these intra-clubs and the games against the other teams, you're not really looking more so at how the players are particularly playing on that day. You are more what you're really looking for is identifying the role that they have been given, and whether or not that role is going to be really beneficial moving forward for their scoring in this when the season actually starts. Obviously, this is all a scratch match, and people are really, I suppose, rusty, having not played in full-blown hitouts before this year. So, that was a big tackle off the ball.
And the VFL players as well, the standard of training and things like that just won't be the same as what the AFL listed guys are. So the team that's got more of them will generally be the worst team. I think we found that with the Port Adelaide one yesterday, that one team scored 100 points more than the other team. So.
Any other live streams for the other intra-club games? I think most teams had been streaming them, but there were a few, like Collingwood didn't have it streamed, and Brisbane I know also didn't have it streamed. St Kilda also didn't want anybody to be recording or taking photos of the ground either. So
yeah, very true.
So I think those are 3 clubs.
If you're asking from us in general, this is the first one that we've done, but we're looking to do a few of the intra-club games, not intra-club games, the pre-season games that are happening next week as well. So definitely see us along for those. There were a few happening yesterday in the afternoon that were being streamed, but obviously work commitments and things like that, we couldn't make it. So this is the first one today. Essendon doing a stream, Joe? Have they done an intra-club already?
Yeah, we had one on Thursday, I think it was. Okay. So
maybe we'll have to catch their next one as well then.
Yeah, it wasn't streamed. We weren't given any links just to watch the game, but they did give us a highlights package sort of thing from the game. Obviously not the same. The whole point of watching these is to really look at certain players and identify their roles. And I got to say, I'm loving Cunnington's role so far, to be honest.
Man, I've been telling everyone he's back in the guts. He's going to be playing midfield. Yes, he said he's going to be going forward, but that's just so he doesn't have to get stuck on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's really a lot of rotations in a team going through the middle. With a lot of the younger guys, you've got to rest the older guys on field. Otherwise, you just run out. So you'll see a lot of established players these days actually rest in the forward line, even a Petrarca type, and then kind of come back to their middle instead of going on the bench again.
I do want to say whether Cunnington has regularly been a high time on ground sort of person?
It's hard because obviously last year he recovering
Yeah,
from
I know.
cancer. So
I'm talking more so historically.
helps that he doesn't run like huge amounts, but things that happens. There's a lot of fans here. Today's the North Melbourne fan day, so they'll do the Intraclub match now, and then they're going to have a bit of a rest, and then come on and do like signatures, all that kind of stuff with everybody. So
Cunnington, before 2021, then 2021 was the only year he averaged 82% time on ground. Every other year before that, he tends to be in the 70% mark. From what I can tell here on DFS Australia. And yeah, he still averages 90 to 100 plus. So yeah, he's definitely one that I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Haven't seen much of Zeeble though. Is Zeeble playing today?
yeah.
Oh, the Bunana. Nah, didn't come off. All right, who's taking this kick in?
Hamish Free actually opens up some real possibilities for us. So there's Luke McDonald.
Oh, Luke McDonald kick in. No, I want Zeeble taking the kick-ins. Stop it.
He opens up some real things because we've been relegating CCJ and Comben and Edwards to playing more of a ruck type role. There's Comben.
What is this quick transition from the kick-in? Very impressive.
Yeah. Whereas now Free kind of takes that number 2 or number 1 ruck in the AFL, which allows a lot of the other guys to play that natural forward role. And then second role. So this is Cooper Harvey here. He's actually getting really involved today. I'm actually quite surprised. Had some nice tackles in the first quarter, and now obviously we've seen him just then as well.
Oh, that was Zeeble. He had really pushed high up the ground. He tried to lay a tackle up there.
He's likely to knock out his own players, to be honest. Oh, Lazaro. Any handball to the guy behind him? No, too late.
Godfather J6, you are most welcome. Come check it in from America, the freedom. Oh, mate, you are
nice to have you along, mate.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming.
Whereabouts in America, man? Okay. So if Zeeble is trying to lay a tackle all the way up in there forward 50, that's
he's just
that's
pushing.
I
think it's more a case of just pushing up the ground. You know, if you're a defender and the ball's in the back line, you don't stay in the back line, right? Tom Stewart and all these other players start setting up that magic wall. I think that's just kind of natural. One thing I will note,
magic wall.
Ben
wall was too high up, bro.
Cunnington again in the middle.
Yeah, Cunnington's looking good, bro. I think I might have to put him in, but it's still first quarter.
Oh, of course. But let's wait for 4. See what happens. There's Will Phillips as well, just behind the ball, number 29.
There he is.
So another centre bounce for him, which is fantastic.
We love centre bounces here at the centre bounce.
That's true.
Oh, there's Zeeble.
Yeah.
Oh, who was that yellow guy? He loves the body contact.
I think that was Dawson. There's Phillips.
Nice. That's
2 points right there, boys.
That was a good handball out in front. Very good. Didn't break stride. Ooh, who's this?
That's Griffin Logue.
Griffin Logue, yes. He looks a bit chunky.
From Port Adelaide. Recruit from Fremantle.
Port Adelaide, he said.
I know. I'm terrible.
Good kick. Colorado, to be exact. Also a Suns supporter. Discovered the AFL in 2020, going into my 4th season. Well done on discovering the best sport on the planet. Very, very happy for you. I'm surprised you picked the Suns, though.
Yeah. It's interesting kind of going for a team that's not necessarily high up on the ladder. Obviously, a lot of people starting to watch clubs and starting to watch a game will stick around for the more exciting ones. So interesting to kind of steer why you pick the Suns if you want to share. And Paul Curtis behind. Unlucky. Let's see if they'll show us who's taking the kick-ins for the yellow team.
He should have converted that. That was really bad.
Yeah, that was pretty shit.
He had a lot more time than he thought he did. All right, who's taking this kick? I think Godfather probably loved Tuke Miller so much that he had to.
So that's Lockie Young. So one Lockie Young kick in, and then to Callum Dawson there as well.
I like this Dawson guy.
Yeah, he's a really good player. Picked him up with our first pick in the mid-season draft last year, and I know the club's put a lot of time and effort into him.
Goldie went with a big fly.
Goldie's pretty mobile. People don't realize, but he has taken some pretty good grabs for a big guy.
He has. I love Goldie.
Especially someone of his age. So this is one of the VFL guys, Lawson.
Oh, 50!
Taken out by his own team. There you go. So look how high up... oh, no.
Where's Zabel?
Back line. He's in there. I saw him. Kane Turner, man. I think he's very lucky he got a job.
Oh,
there's Cunnington.
Score assist incoming? No.
We'll see. Oof.
No, it wasn't from him. Oh! That's on the full, though. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Thinks he's bloody Lionel Messi or something.
Hey, everyone needs their preseason highlights, right?
That was not a highlight.
Oh, that was pretty cool. If that went in from that goal, it'd be played every week for the next year.
No way. That would have been the classic example of wasting good kicks in preseason.
Nah, take advantage, right?
Okay. This doesn't look...
Hamish Free's a very big fella. Oh, that was a shocking kick.
Oh. Clarko, you got to get on the phone and blast the shit out of him. You've seen much of Stevenson? He's there, Mark. He's there manning the mark.
I
don't know. I think he's capable of so much more than what he's given you. Ooh, was that Zeeble to try to spoil?
That should have been a free kick. So Phillips took the run down from behind.
The Cunnington, let's go.
Yeah.
You love to see it. Larky, just take it easy. Take your shot.
This is something that the club's been working on quite a lot as well, is the transition and moving the ball quite quickly, making sure that the players are in position so we don't have to wait for them to run up the ground to actually get there. One of the big problems we had.
I never understood why you guys wouldn't try moving the ball fast when you got a guy like Larkin who needs the ball in one-on-one.
Last couple of years, he's tried to recover from not having Ben Brown there, who was kind of that guy who would run up and down the ground a lot more. So he's had to try and take that role on a little bit, which has meant that often he'd actually be out of position because he'd be halfway up the ground. We found that in the games that when North were getting smashed, he'd almost be in the defensive 50 taking marks and applying pressure there. So there'd just be no one in the forward line. We'd get there, we'd get the ball up, and there'd be no one there for us.
Cunnington again in the middle.
Yeah.
You love
Cunnington in the middle, Phillips in the middle.
These are all relevant Supercoach names. Watched a couple of weeks to get a feel for all teams, looked into and listened to club songs, but I made my choice after watching the Suns beat up on Port pretty bad. I sort of let it come to me. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Absolutely.
Good old Eddie Ford. It's not Eddie Ford, it's Zeller. Okay.
Ooh,
There you go.
CCJ. Cunnington pushed back, tried to intercept. That would have been nice. A Cunnington intercept mark. I would have loved that. How does the Sun song go again? How the hell?
I think there's also maybe a Geelong preseason match going on at the moment.
Oh, okay. Maybe at quarter time we could switch over, perhaps.
Maybe not.
This is for you, Godfather.
Hey, no cross contamination here, thanks.
I knew Suns weren't a top team, but they're a top team today, mate. This is their song for you. Don't you worry about it. I have a soft spot for these guys. I have a soft spot.
If Gold Coast stopped doing dodgy trades with Geelong, I think they'd be a much better team than what we've seen at the moment.
Yeah. That trade broke my heart, to be honest.
Oh, and they did a few dodgy ones before, giving away mid-first round picks and some other things as well. So, yeah, it's not great.
Does that count as a Phillips tackle there? I think so.
I
thought that was a Phillips tackle before. So this is what we want to see. We want to see Phillips playing at stoppages as much as possible.
He's in there again.
He's in there again. Oh, Cherry trying to pulverize him.
There he is.
Here he is, Phillips. Oh, nice.
So that's a case where Cunnington's in the forward line compared to where he was in the midfield for the majority of the game. So just a note there.
Oh, that was a nice tap on. Ooh, good effort trying to spoil. Still haven't seen much of Zeeble.
We'd love to have you along for Supercoach if you wanted to play Supercoach Godfather. You could actually watch the Supercoach Godfather. AFL Fantasy is a little bit different than what Supercoach is, just the way the scoring works and things like that. I think with NFL, the games aren't capped on how many points like players can score and things like that, how many points are available per game, whereas Supercoach, it definitely is. So each game has a maximum of 3,300 points. That's divided up between both teams, depending on what they do, intercepts, tackles, that kind of thing.
Luke McDonald intercept mark. Is that Zeeble back there? Around the 50 mark?
Yeah, with the shoulder. Yep.
Oh, Suv. Not the best handball, though.
Wasn't great. Mate, Curtis is going to be crazy this year.
He's really quick with his feet. Yeah. He loves
He's very strong as well. Like, pound for pound, he'd be one of the more stronger guys at like that 80-kilo mark. He's pretty buff.
There's Cunnington in the goal square.
And that's what I was saying at the start, right? It's not necessarily about Cunnington playing forward instead of mid. It's more Cunnington rotating through there instead of being on the bench.
I have got to say that I'm not the biggest fan of Zeeble's positioning.
Well, not getting that involved at the moment, is he?
I think the
did
problem, because what I'm seeing with Zeeble is he's not playing that traditional intercept marking player off halfback. He is very much pushing up the ground and trying to get a disposal at the source, as opposed to letting the ball come to him and him having an unimpeded run and jump at it. I think he's chasing the ball too much, leaving halfback, pushing up onto a wing.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that will translate into Supercoach scoring, though.
Well, it won't if he's not getting involved.
Exactly. Like, he's really committing all of his eggs into that one basket, going up to the contest, trying to get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's not falling his way. There will be games where it does fall his way, but in terms of the role, I can't see it being consistent enough to give us good scores all the time. See, there he is again. He went flying for a mark really high up the ground. Like, it's I don't know how I feel about that.
With these intra-club games, they're more put on by the clubs. So that's why the AFL doesn't have a lot of say in them. And a lot of the time they'll use them for marketing, that kind of thing. So the right that are with the AFL clubs. The official pre-season games might be up on the AFL app, but not these kind of intra-club games that we're seeing today. We said at the start, kind of, this is part of the family day. So they'll play this now until 12, which will be on. And then after that, they'll do family day type stuff. So there won't be any more stream.
And here he is, Cunnington on the ball, all the way back here in the back line. You love to see it. The more I watch, the more I'm happy with Cunnington, and the more I'm not as happy with Zeeble. So
yeah, definitely.
And Phillips is also looking the goods.
And the thing with Phillips too is that he's such a cheap price. He's around the ball. It's almost not. You have to pick him, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Is Gerda playing today or not?
He should be. We'll check.
Oh, is that him? In the yellow?
No. I think that's Lewis Butler. I've just posted in the chat the link for the who's playing today. No, it doesn't look like Goda's playing today.
Why is he not playing?
Maybe just got illness or something. A lot of the time these players, things like these happen, right?
So is this meant to be a quarter time break? Okay. Thoughts on the first quarter?
It's okay. As you say, we're here to watch, like, positioning and things like that. Skills-wise, it has been a lot worse in the past, so it's nice to see something a bit different. Could be a lot worse.
To be honest, this first quarter was better than what I saw for the freaking Port Adelaide scratch match, to be honest. I thought Port Adelaide's one was really bad compared to Adelaide's one as well. I thought Adelaide's one was a lot better. And unfortunately, there was no Butters playing in the Port one because of his AC issue. So I would have loved to have seen Butters perform. I think he's a better player than Rosie, personally.
And Horn Francis did show some things, but from a lot of reports as well, he faded out pretty quickly and got a bit almost embarrassed there from the hype that Kane Corns was giving him for a while.
He really was giving him a lot of hype.
Oh man, black boots and all sorts.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not the biggest. You know my views of this. I'm not the biggest fan of Horn Francis. I just thought the hype around him was not commensurate with his skill level, man. He's a fine player, but pick one and all this talk of him being a generational talent. I don't know about that. If we're talking Dacos, if we're talking Ashcroft, Walsh, yeah, fine. But I don't put Horn Francis at that level.
There's he reminds me a little bit when Corn was going on about his black boots and how good he looked. Reminds me of those kids that, you play LAN games or whatever, and they'd have the really good computer, but they'd still be really bad at the game. And it's just like, hey, come check out my merchandise, but the skills just aren't there yet. I'm sure he'll be a fantastic player for them, but from some reports, he wasn't that great on field yesterday. Had some moments, but then kind of fell off pretty hard. And that's one of the things that we found at North was if he's not involved in the game, he won't necessarily go for it as much. So he's like, hey, kick it to me. I'm here. But he won't do those extra second efforts that kind of get him involved.
And he doesn't have the pace to really work his way and free himself up so that he can be a genuine target that you can pass the ball to. I think, lacking that speed, he's always got someone like breathing down his neck. He's always got someone on him, like right there. So if he doesn't have the ball in his hands, unfortunately, he's not really providing you with much at all. And that's obviously not a good thing for someone who's meant to be generational.
Yeah, big takeaways from that first quarter is obviously Phillips, like we were saying, and then Cunnington as well. I don't think he even rested on the bench, was basically in the midfield or in the forward line.
Yeah, he was great. I loved Cunnington. A lot of centre bounces, and Phillips. I think Phillips was just about every centre bounce.
Yeah, pretty much.
As well as being there at a lot of the stoppages. He was well and truly on the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if Phillips was the number one disposal getter for that quarter.
Just got a few highlights here. Yeah, man. So Godfather's just saying, hey, AFL's better than NFL. And like, yeah, NFL's great, but I find the one of the problems with it is like the stop start. The endurance and the cardio might not be there across the board. Whereas AFL, like the players, will play 10, 20 minutes of just running around straight. So being almost as physical as those guys, probably not as heavy, but being almost as physical as those guys running on a bigger ground, that kind of thing, it's a bit different.
Bro, I can't watch NFL. It's like 11. Yes, Med. Thank you. It's like 11 minutes of play that gets stretched out to freaking 55 hours. Like, my God. Like, it is insane. It is so particular. It is so detailed. A million different plays. I understand that it is so technical, and it's really hard to pick up if you're a non-native NFL watcher.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so hard. I feel like it's a lot harder to pick up than footy. Footy, the positions are a lot more general, and there is no two teams, one for defense, one for offense. Like I think it's a lot easier to pick up, and the players are required to do a lot more things than in NFL. But it is so slow. Like it's insane how how they can find in their game 1 minute is an eternity. Like
the flow of the game's a really big thing as well. It's like a lot of the rules and things like that around the stoppages and what's a penalty, what's not a penalty, that kind of thing. Like you say, you just stop, start. It's not great, but 300 million whatever people love it, so they must be doing something right.
Look, they definitely, I think, using their use of camera, the use of camera footage to review things, I think is definitely a lot better than what we've got. Our footage, our reviews are really crap. And yeah, like as you say, Godfather, it really is a chess match, but it's a very slow, drawn out chess match. That unlike in, like you have 30 seconds to start a play, and you think that's fairly quick, but if you're stopping and you've got 30 seconds for every single play, and it could take you 4 plays just to move 10 yards, it really gets slow, very slow. And you guys love your ads as well. So it there goes like your whole day just trying to watch one game of football. And I'm surprised they call it football when they hardly use their feet. It's apart from when they go for the field goal or the conversion, it tends to, or a punt. It's definitely a lot of throw ball, that's for sure. Handball.
I'm sure he's heard that before.
I'm sure he has. But I'm doing us a favor and I'm doing it. I'm saying it again.
Remember, guys, we've got 15 people watching, which is bloody fantastic. So thanks for coming along. If you have any questions or anything about the game or Supercoach or anything like that in general, feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll talk about them.
Okay, I guess we got all 14 North Melbourne members watching the game.
Oh, there you go.
And Godfather, the Gold Coast son.
I might have a couple of pages of the stream up as well, just to boost the numbers there.
Yes, it's all good. All right. Doesn't look like Phillips is at this one.
What do you mean? He's right there, next to Cam.
Is that him?
Yeah. Number 29, right in
there
front.
we go. I know him as number 29. I don't know his face.
Yeah, number 29. There you go. Right in front again.
There you go. Perfect. Yes, another Phillips centre bounce. I love it. I love it. This guy is a lock, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, if you're not playing him, if you don't have him in Supercoach, you're in a bit of trouble.
And he's going to be a good scorer as well.
Oh, that was a good one. The best ability is availability.
Indeed.
Yeah, our VFL team's actually got a lot stronger than what we've had than in previous years. We've come in and brought in a lot of these previously AFL listed youngsters or AFL listed players that have been delisted. So, yeah, something a bit different than kind of just getting your local boys like we've had in the past.
Is he seriously trying to snap it from right there?
Of course he will.
What? Come on, that's a regulation drop punt.
Yeah, it was a goal.
Doesn't matter, bro. When you're that close at that minute of an angle, bro, come on. You're like basically right on. I don't like that.
Common's actually looking really good. He's playing the second tall for the blue team. Has been involved quite a lot with the transition and things like that up and down the ground. So pretty happy with him. Here's one for you, Joe. Got a question for you?
Oh, if you want to join Supercoach, well, I'll give you the link to go straight onto the Supercoach website, and then you would basically just join in there. It's fairly easy. Let me just pull up the website. You press register and play.
Yeah. One of the good things for new players with Supercoach as well is that closer to the actual game starting or the season starting, you can take note of things like high ownership and almost make a cheat team out of that. If you're struggling to try and find a position for players, let the other people do the hard work for you. We put through a pretty good video of things to do. Joe kind of told us about his season last year and things like that, and that was one of the things.
Yeah, definitely learned a lot, and I'm taking a lot of those learnings into this year.
Ooh, someone was asking about Combin. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. How are you going to kick the goal from there?
Good luck with that, mate.
There you go.
Leaks.
Watch this.
Why Essendon sucks, Michael? Look, I have asked myself this question many times. It boggles the mind, but we won't suck anymore. We got a good coach.
Hey,
and by
guess
the way,
who's around the middle again, Joe?
Oh, Phillips. And by the way, Godfather, when you've made your team, go to leagues and then put in this code, and you'll join our group. And if you win, number one in our group, you get to win a jersey. Obviously, you
We'll send it to the US. We'll send it. We'll send it over there.
Yeah, you bear it for the Suns, so you'll get a Suns jersey and a number of your choice. If you don't win, you just have you have the best week of the season. You'll get
and Conlon just set up another goal as well, or at least a kick inside 50.
And if you're just lucky, you don't win anything, but you're just lucky, you win the lottery, you end up with an AFL store voucher. So, guys, as I've put the code in there, so please join us.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, kind of what we talk about. North Melbourne and back six. There's a lot of players who are going to rotate through there, and I think as well they're kind of trying to figure out the exact mix of what they're looking for. I'm not sure what's happened with Goda. I feel like it might just be illness, that kind of thing. There wasn't any reports of injury. Maybe he just woke up late and they're like, "Hey, we can't play you." So wait and see if there's anything harsher than that. But it's only Intraclub game in February. It's not be all end all.
I really want to know why. They haven't given us an explanation.
There's been a fair hype at the moment about Zeeble taking kickouts and things like that, and I'd shy away from that maybe a little bit. We'll just wait and see.
It hasn't played out that way.
So in the first quarter, there was a lot of Cunnington in the middle, whereas right now there isn't. So just something to take note as well.
Phillips is a mainstay in there.
Phillips is stuck there. He's like glue.
Yeah. There's Zeeble.
And then Logue's changed teams as well. So
give it to him. Yes. Just to give us a scrubby kick. Oh, here we go. Transition football. Phillips. Yes. Let's go. Back to him. Damn it.
I truly believe that Phillips is going to show people why we picked him up at pick 3 this year instead of picking up someone like a Logan McDonald. And guys like Kane Corns, that kind of thing, are really going to kind of get shown up almost. He did have those times of injuries, but the talent's really going to shine through this year.
Wait, what happened? Free kick. I think he ran out of bounds and it kept running.
Yeah, I think so.
Typical Steve-O. The spaceman. All right, I want to see how high Zeeble pushed up the ground to try and affect the turnover. Oh, there's Cunnington in the middle. I saw him.
Yeah. So this is Lewis Butler, who we picked up from the Dogs VFL. Or from the Dogs AFL team, but they delisted him. So he's in our VFL.
Okay, so no Zeeble here. That was McDonald who's pushed up this time.
Yep. And Cunnington in a stoppage, which is nice. Look for him to get the hit out. There he is, right in the middle, in the guts already.
There he is, Cunnington. To
That's
Phillips.
Effective.
Cunnington to Phillips. Let's go. We're going to see a lot of that. Why Steve-O decided to kick the ball there when he had Curtis right next to him? That was so bad.
His disposal efficiency and decision making is not fantastic. There's
Zeeble,
Zeeble.
he's pushed. See, he's the one who's pushed high up on the ground on this side.
Yeah.
So it looks like your half-backs are really pushing up the ground, set up a,
they're trying to
really
smother
aggressive wall. Yeah.
Trying to smother it as much as we can. There'll be someone down in defence, maybe Logue or somebody, but yeah, the halfbacks are really going up fast.
Yeah. They're
I
really
think we see that
trying
a
to
lot in like a
suffocate the
Richmond
ball.
and things like that as well.
So it seems that you guys are trying. You guys aren't looking to play slingshot. You're looking to play Richmond front half game.
Hey man, if you win 3 premierships in 4 years, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I know, but it's just a question of how would Clarko do it? Would Clarko do it his way, where they didn't play that style when he was the coach of the Hawks and they won their flags?
No.
So it was a question like, what sort of approach is this champion coach going to take? Is he going to take the style that won him premierships, or is he going to go with the modern, what the flavor of this era is? It looks like he's definitely sticking with the front half pressure game. Cunnington score assist. Let's go. All right. It looks like I'm putting Cunnington in my team this way after this game.
He's looking all right so far. Not going to lie.
Who's this kick and taker? Oh, nice. Is Zeebs. That was a very interesting decision to kick it to one player in between 3.
Yeah, I don't know. We do a lot of very interesting decisions these days.
Mackay.
Tom Powell.
Oh, he's looking good, man. He's done some good things.
Yeah, he's put a lot of weight on as well.
Bro, how much does Powell cost?
I think it's like $350. He's not really Supercoach relevant at the moment.
Oh, he's 308. Mid forward. Who kicked the goal? Zerha.
Who are you going to pick, Tom Powell or Jacob Hopper? Like, let's be honest, right? Or Fife, or Warple. Maybe.
Both of them. All of them. All of them in prices.
Okay, sure thing.
No. But
I think they're going to be trying to run Cam Zerha a little bit like how a Stringer Degoe type is. So that high half forward kicks goals, but also does some things in the middle. Seems to be kind of coming into his body and coming to that age as well where this is the time to really do that with the player. Especially when he's not needed as much in the forward line with the Curtis Taylor and Paul Curtis and Sheasel and that kind of thing. Doing quite well.
All right, Cunnington in there again.
There's Cunnington again. Any Phillips? No Phillips at the moment.
First time Phillips is not in there.
Yeah, maybe he's on the bench.
Could be on the bench, yeah. I haven't noticed. Has he ever drifted at half forward as like a rotation sort of thing? There he is. That's right. Yeah, he was stationed half forward and pushed up. That could be the role that Flanders plays.
It'd be cool if you got DPP.
That could be the role that Flanders is playing for Gold Coast. We didn't see their Intraclub. I don't know if that was streamed or not, or if it's done. But by reports, Flanders is playing half forward and was involved in stoppages. So that could be what happens there.
So what you do is you've logged into Supercoach, and separate to the main make a team screen, when you press Classic, there's a tab underneath that says Leagues. So you go and you press Leagues, and then there's a one that says Groups, and it says Unlimited Groups. So you put in the number when you press Create Drawing Group on the left, and then you'll see it there. So it's separate to actually making a team, if that makes sense.
Cunnington in there again.
Tom Powell straight in the guts this time.
Oh, Powell. Their iced coffee is not good for you.
I know. Work late
Yes,
nights, don't
Huntington
sleep.
tackle.
That
That's
was
not
a good
mark.
mark. That should have been a mark.
That was not a mark. Ooh, good tackling.
If this was a Geelong game, that would have been a mark. I'm sorry. Would have been like 50. You tackled him after the mark. Here's a 50. That's it. Oh, Cunnington again around the stoppage.
Oh, bro, I'm loving it.
Oh, there he is. That's the
Here he
disposal.
is.
That's effective.
Oh, yes. To Phillips. Let's go. Oh, I love it. Is this combat?
50. That should have been a 50.
Hey, is this Charlie Comben? Remind me. He's looking good.
Yeah, if he's fit, he'll play, yeah? That's the big thing.
Right.
So just
He
be
had a
fit
couple
for the
of
next
touches.
however long.
He looked good there. He had a couple of touches. He's playing on the blue team, which is good. Not happy with the lack of Zeeble.
Oh, that's it,
There
right?
he is.
I guess as you're a defender, if you're not expecting the team to get smashed as much as what you're thinking, the ball's not going to be down in defense as much as what you're thinking either. So it'll be good to see us versus Richmond next week. I think it's going to be televised as well. But if the ball's going to be more forward of the ball, it won't just be down back like what we've seen previously.
Oh, dropped the sitter. Who's number 40?
Oh,
Bro, no one wants to take his kick. Yes, Cunnington with the fend off. The ha ha ha.
No, he's missed.
Bro, who was number 40? Was that Eddie Ford?
Who before? Number 40, yeah.
The one who dropped the absolute sitter in the goal score.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not picking him. A couple of broken tackles. That's no good. They must be VFL boys. But good harassing. Oh my God. But this is good forward pressure.
Oof.
My eyes. Good kick. Good find.
Yeah, Perez is an interesting one. Going to be interesting to kind of see coming off some injuries, that kind of thing, where he fits in. Good old Harry Sheezel's getting involved as well.
Shees.
There's some talk that he might be playing off halfback, but I'm not sure about that at the moment.
How many people can one team have playing off halfback? Like your entire team is playing off halfback at this point. What the hell?
Oh man, I think it's more. It's the crucial, like it's the biggest position on field to actually fill. So teams are going to keep experimenting until that kind of happens. Oh, nice mark by Zeeble.
Yeah, after he turned the ball over, he gets an intercept mark. Does that still count as positive points?
Oh, it's an intercept mark, I suppose so.
Yeah, so that's 8 points, and then the turnover was how many points off? I forgot.
5.
He still net himself 3 points.
Yeah, done.
Mackay, last year playing for North Melbourne, very nice.
Oh, shut
Terrible
up.
Kick.
He's not going anywhere else. That's it. He's done. He's staying in the club. I'll not have this negativity on stream, thanks.
It's not negative, bro. It's very positive. It's very positive, depending on who you're talking to. Phillips, nice. Bro, Larky one-on-one. Larky one-on-one.
Almost took a fantastic mark, though.
Oh, unselfish. He had to give it back to Ford to make it up for dropping the sitter before.
And we've got 20 people watching, guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to chuck it in the live games chat, and we'll feature it on the video today, and we'll just talk about it. So any questions about the team or any questions about Supercoach, that kind of thing, we're all here just watching.
And any questions in relation to where Mackay will be going next year is more than welcome. I'm sure Big J would love to answer that question.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my god! All right, it's been a pretty good hit out though for your mob, I must admit. No Cunnington.
Got a few highlights coming out of Collingwood from their intra-club game as well. So
yeah,
I think Tom Mitchell's stuck in the guts, which is fantastic for Supercoach there.
Oh, is this Phillips?
Yeah, Phillips to Curtis.
Oh,
and there's a case of Cunnington being in the forward line as well.
Bro, I think you got to have both of them. I think you need to have both Cunnington and Phillips because
Phillips, yes, but I think Cunnington's more dependent on where you're putting the money. If you're stacking the forward line, then maybe. But if you're going for like 4 and then 2 rookies or some mid prices, that kind of thing, it's a lot of money to put in.
It is a lot of money to put in,
especially. But wait till next week.
But I think stacking your forward line is the way to go. My team review had 5 primos, but with Butters' AC joint issues, that's too nerve-wracking for me to put that much money into someone who's got an AC joint problem. We saw what happened. Like when Dunkley did his AC joint, he wasn't the same. When Steele did his AC, he wasn't the same. So I'm not going to spend that much money on someone who has an injury cloud over his head. So I might go down from Butters to Cunnington. He just has to average in the 90s, I think, to make 150k.
Yeah.
That was out of bounds. That was out of bounds. Big non-decision there by the umpire. To quote BT. And I've seen like Abs, for example, from Abs Magic, the superstar, the Supercoach Godfather, got Zeeble at F5. I definitely feel more confident if it was
100%. Cunnington over Zeeble right now for 50k more any day of the week. There he is. See,
there he is.
Forward line, Ben Cunnington, done.
Oh, you'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Convert, my friend.
So I've got a question here, Joe.
The number 1 must-have player on the Supercoach team. The number 1 must-have, I think it's more than just a number 1. I think a lot of it comes down to locks in your team that you basically have to have, and if you don't have them, you're really setting yourself up to get burnt by opposition players. So players like that are locks in everybody's teams are like Dunkley is a lock in everybody's team. In the forward line, he's going to be F1. I think people are really locking in Bontempelli. He's someone that you've got to have as well with Dunkley gone, and he's been absolutely flying in the preseason. So you should definitely be paying attention to the percentage of their ownership across the board, because if they go big and you don't have them, it's going to hurt you twice as much. So people with high ownership also include Rowan Marshall in the ruck, someone that you got to have either as your R1 or R2. And I think a guy like Dacos is also really highly owned in the back line. I think his ownership is like 40-something%. So when you got players that are that highly owned, you select them to protect yourself, in addition to getting their good scores. Do you have a number 1 most must-have player, Big J?
Will Phillips. Nah. It's interesting. I think with NFL and things like that, there is a number 1 player because of the way the scoring works. Like, hey, this guy takes all of he's the main target for the quarterback, that kind of thing. He'll pump out like a lot of scores. He'll take a lot of that scoring. whereas Supercoach is a little bit different, just with the amount of scoring a player can generally go. I think it's fairer to say, hey, like Joe said, there's probably 4 or 5 guys who should be in everyone's team versus this is the must-have guy, and then you look for points of difference across the board. Especially to start with, a lot of players a lot of super coaches will actually go and pick the best players. That's why, well, you said at the start, the high ownership is generally a good way to cheat and then develop your team out of that as well.
Yeah. And so building on that answer to this question that you got here, for someone who doesn't know all the players in and out, what skills or traits or stats, a lot of that comes hand in hand with the role that a player has. And that's sort of what we're doing here. We're looking at players to identify whether or not their role is going to allow them to have a lot of disposals. We'll see them, for example, have a lot of kicks, and really the best roles for a player that they can have is either if they're playing in the midfield or if they're playing at halfback, where they're a distributor for their team. Really, these two are, and in the ruck, of course, because in the ruck, you can get points for hitouts in addition to all of the other kicks, handballs, tackles, those sort of things. So the 3 best scoring type of players, the midfielders who are playing in the middle at centre bounces, guys like Phillips, who you're hardly ever seeing out of the centre bounce, players who are playing off half back, like we were all hoping that Zeeble would be, distributing more, but he really isn't, unfortunately, and guys in the ruck. So if you can fill your team up with as many of these 3 types of players, then you're doing really well and you'll be reducing your risk of having really crappy scores on the field.
Yeah, definitely. Just trying to find you.
Will Ashcroft is one that you got to have on your team. He is, as everybody says, a generational talent. And he's one that everyone should have. And he really already has high ownership. There's a lot of good glowing reports about him. In particular, he's able to kick goals. He's really good in congestion. He's really great in the center bounces as well. And these are the sorts of things that we love to hear from a player. And the big risk when it comes to rookies is because they are unproven. You don't know how they're gonna take that next step into AFL level. But he's played against grown men in the VFL, and VFL is the Victorian Football League. Yeah, the reserve league for the AFL. So he's played against grown men, and he's scored 120, 140s, and 160s against these guys. So he's shown that he's able to match it with fully grown men. And the reports out of Brisbane are that he's really tearing it up and he's really impressive and he's definitely going to play in the senior team. So these are things that you want to hear. When it comes to rookies, it comes down to what is their role and do they have good job security. These are the 2 things. You need them to have good job security so they can play just about every game, so they can keep their cash gen going, and having them be in a good role means that they're going to score decently well, which will allow them to make their cash really quickly. So these are the 2 major things when it comes to looking at rookies. If you feel that a rookie doesn't meet both of those criteria, then you got to fade them. You don't pick them.
Yeah. In the chat, if you just have a look, I posted a good article by Fox Sports, just kind of talking about some of the things that you're looking at. Hopefully the link works. It obviously works for me here, but definitely jump in and have a look at that. It's kind of got some interesting information about, hey, if you're looking for midfielders, this is what you're looking for. If you're looking for defenders, this is what you're looking for, that kind of thing. Happy to take any information and any questions you've got, but kind of a good thing to reference as well.
Yes, I agree, Med. Hopper is also one that you got to have. Very high ownership. He's a mid-pricer who has got historical good scoring and is going to be playing as a mainstay in the midfield at centre bounces for Richmond. And that's what you want to hear. You want players who are either playing centre bounce, has high centre bounce attendances in the midfield, or ruckmen, or distributors of halfback. These are the 3 best roles that you can have for your players in Supercoach. So you want to avoid key forwards at all costs because they are really dependent on kicking goals. And if they don't kick goals, they don't score high. So you don't want to start them in your team, but they are certainly people that during the course of the season, if they're doing well, and you can see that they have a really easy run coming up, where you can see that they're going to kick a lot of goals in the next few weeks, then you can jump on them. But in terms of starting your team, you need to have someone that can consistently score well, so that they can really get their cash generation going, and then you can upgrade them to premium picks. So yeah, Hopper is definitely one of the musts in that midfield. Thank you very much, Med.
Yeah. So he's also one of those players as well that comes in at what you'd consider to be a reduced price. So if a player doesn't play much AFL the year before due to injury, that kind of thing, they'll actually get a discount on their price on their average the following year to try and entice people, that kind of thing, to play. So and to pick them. So Hopper in the past has averaged like a 90 plus, but he's only priced at like a 60. So there's a lot of wiggle room there scoring wise, and also potential to be a keeper in the position as well. So that's another reason to pick him. These guys who in the past, when they were fit, were scoring 30, 40, 50 points even more than what they're priced at the moment. Yeah, it's kind of a good general indicator of maybe they've moved to a new team, maybe they're recovering from an injury, that kind of thing, as a good reason to pick them.
Oh, I missed this question before from Mid about Powell at 308k as an F5. This was someone that we were talking about during the game. Yeah, he's definitely getting involved a fair bit, and that was why he also, piqued our interest as well. But when you're paying $308,000 for someone who really has only played 2 seasons, you're really banking on them to break out. And with averages of 67 and 57, with 67 and 56, it's not really historically reliable. Whereas when you compare, for you're paying maybe 30k extra, and you can get a 20k extra for a guy like Sheed, for example,
or Hopper,
who isn't, or a guy like Hopper.
Five.
Yeah, Five is playing
5
too
kicking
much
goals
forward.
is a lot more valuable than other stuff.
Yeah, I guess. So there are definitely other options out there. If you've got the courage to go with a Powell, it's definitely an interesting one. It will definitely be a pod, but probably better to wait and see how he goes against other teams, against how he goes against Richmond next week. I think that would probably be a better gauge. And if he tears it up in that game, then we're on to something.
Yeah, definitely. So with this question, you're just asking how does kind of upgrading and things like that. So generally Supercoach, the aim of Supercoach is to have a full team of premiums on field. This is meaning guys who are the top in their positions, and the guys who generally will be scoring about 100 plus every week. Ultimately, this team costs about $13 million to make. That in previous years, this is kind of around the mark for it. So if you look at Supercoach in general, when you make your team, you only get 10 million. So similar to a stock market type situation, you'll start with some good scoring players to start with, but also some cheaper guys and guys that will make money. And the aim of Supercoach throughout the season is actually to buy and sell players, upgrade guys on field, and generally downgrade guys on the bench who have made some money and go towards that full premium style team. So you've been given 36 trades this year and the capacity to use 2 trades every week. Now, you won't be using 2 trades every week, hopefully, because you'll run out of trades pretty quick. But they give you the option there. And there's also things like trade boosts that allow you to use 3 trades every week. And we have 5 of those as well. After a player's played their 3rd week of games, so after, played 1, 2, and 3, that's when their price starts to change. And that's kind of based on their average, something we call a break even. So let's say we use Hopper, for example. He's priced at a 65. He starts averaging 90s in that 3rd week. He's actually going to start going up in price closer to what a guy who averages 90s would be, if that makes sense.
Yes. Following up on that question that you then asked, yes, will the players' value go up or down? Yes. So after they've played their first 3 games, they then have a 3-round average to start from. That sets a break even for them. They will then, from that point on, every single week, fluctuate in price depending on how they do on the field. So that's why we need that's why we need all of our players to have great roles, because if they have great roles, it will lead them to have good scoring on
and good
in
consistency.
Supercoach. And good consistency that will then should have them performing above their break even based on their averages. So if they're able to outperform their break even, they will then go up in price. And if they have a stinker game where they go below their break even, then they're going to have a really high break even the next week. They have to really counter, make up for that bad game by having an absolute ripper the next week. So, and that's part of the reason why I said before, you don't want key forwards, because if they go a game where they don't kick a goal and they end up with a 30, their break even is going to be really high the next week. They have to really make up for it and kick an absolute bag to make up for that bad score, to then try and keep their price point the same. Because then again, if they have another stinker, they're going to absolutely tank in price. So,
and that's something that we find as well, is that because of that 3-round average, as Joe was saying, the more consistent players are a lot better. If you think about it, so it's based on a 3-round average of kind of what their score is. So you might have guys that score 60, 60, 60 for 3 weeks, and that's a 3-round average of a 60 because it's 180 divided by 3. Whereas in the first week, they might score 100, the next week they score a 20, and then the next week they score a 40. If it still averages if it still averages a 60, that's great. But when the first week's high score gets cycled out, now they've got a 3-round average of a much lower score because there's a 20, a 40, and then whatever they score for that third week. So keeping note of break evens and things like that is fantastic for when you want to upgrade to the premium players, because if they have a stinker game, that low score is really going to be in their cycle of scoring for the 3 weeks there. Something to look out for, break evens.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with break evens. And if you, for example, no worries. Because if you feel like, for example, that you got your eye on a premium player and they had a stinker game where they only dropped a 60, for example, you know that their break even is going to be really high going into the next week. So you can wait a week to get them in. If they score, a bit better, but they're most likely going to underperform compared to their break even. They'll drop more in price, and you can aim to get them in the next week. So that's how you're then able to, I suppose, forecast and plan out your team as the season progresses. You want to buy low and sell high. You buy these rookies and these mid prices who you think they are undervalued compared to what the output they can give. And then you sell them when you think they've made enough, when they've made enough cash, you sell them at their highest point and you get them to somewhat to a premium that has reduced in price during the course of the season. And that's how you end up getting a full primo team. And we are very happy that you came across this stream today. We've loved talking to you, Godfather. It's been great to meet you. Robert, how can we watch intra-club matches? Where can I? Well, I know that this North Melbourne one, if you go to their website, the North Melbourne website, it's really easy to get to. You can just go on the AFL website and then at the top click North Melbourne. You can then put in your details to register, and they'll send you a link to watch the game. There are other clubs where you don't have to actually do that. You could have, I know the Port Adelaide and the Adelaide one yesterday, you just had to go to their website and click on their website. They had a link dedicated for them there. So it really just depends on the team that's doing the streaming. And not every team is streaming their games. So I know yesterday at the same time there was Collingwood and Brisbane, and those games weren't streamed. The only way you could find out information was by reading up on live updates, for example, by people tweeting on Twitter. So it depends on the team, Robert. North Melbourne have done it this way. I hope I answered that question for you.
I'm back.
Okay. Went bathroom?
Yeah.
Yes, Robert, we are keeping this up, as you can see. We've been on Zeeble Watch a lot in the first half, and I gotta break it to you, it hasn't been too great. Definitely liking Cunnington's game and Phillips' game. I think these two are doing really well. Zeeble, unfortunately, I didn't see him take a single kick in, did he? I don't think he did.
Nah. The thing with Zeeble this year and versus Hall and Zeeble like 2 years ago when they were premium selections is basically they were the two guys who were really the distributors from that back line. Whereas now there's 5 or 6 players who can really do that as well. So if he's not taking intercepts, if he's not getting involved as much, he obviously won't be scoring that highly in Supercoach. So might be a bit of a fade that way. Obviously, intra-club games are a bit different. You know, you don't have the best team versus another best team. So we'll wait and see for the Richmond game and then the game after that. I think we're playing Melbourne maybe the last week before the season starts. But at the moment in this, I think Perez has taken more kicks from the half back line than what Zeeble has.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a wait and see. But at the moment, it's a no. He's not. I don't think he's going to be the lock scoring 110 every week like he was under Reece Shaw when we were getting slaughtered every week, and he was the only one taking kickouts. Phillips has been doing really well. So he's basically almost been at every stoppage, if not kind of the next group of people outside of the stoppage, which is fantastic. He's a pure midfielder, so that's kind of the role that he will be playing. So definitely more of a lock for me. Drury's been a little bit absent at the moment. He's been playing for the yellow team, I think. Hasn't been getting involved as much. But I guess it could be a similar situation to what Zeeble is. If the ball's not down there, that kind of thing, he won't be involved as much as what you'd expect so far. Yeah, Phillips is, as Med says here, Phillips has been almost best on ground. And we kind of expected that from what I've seen in the training reports. He's a very good player.
Yeah, he's been absolutely killing it. I think he's definitely been, it almost like, he's the one who's been going in a lot more, and he's been getting first hands on the ball a lot more than LDU has. LDU almost looks like he's relying a bit, trying to work in tandem with him so that Phillips can get the first handball out to him and then he can burst away from the stoppage. It's almost like he's playing a merit sort of thing or a shield sort of role in that middle with, Phillips playing the Parish in and under, get the first handball out. So he's looking really good, man. For that price, he's going to be a very serviceable M8 for a long time. I don't think there's going to be a real need to push him out. So both him and Ashcroft, from reports, both look like they are very, very fieldable options in the midfield.
So this quarter, I think we're going to see a bit more of a shake-up of the teams. They're really going to try and balance them out a bit. Something they talked about pre-Intraclub and the North Mail, that kind of thing, is they'll come in and then they'll mesh them up a bit more. Right now, blue teams will look very dominant, and they might try, not new to that, but try and make the teams a bit more even. Create that real competition for spots and things like that. Also, guys from the yellow team who performed maybe in the better team, that kind of thing now. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, the ball has been going forward a lot for the Blues, which means that Drury should have had a lot of supply. Yeah. And he hasn't really. Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to mark Charlie Comben. That's the thing, right? They're it's like 30 centimeters difference. So plus the reach even further.
The wingspan's insane. Yeah, Comben's been doing really well.
He's looking fit.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that there's reasons why we haven't come in and forcefully drafted or traded for a key forward in the last 3 years. There's hopes on this guy to be that number 2 key forward spot for us, and we've obviously done that, and slowly paying off dividends. If he can keep fit, he's going to be okay.
I'd have Comben ahead of Fergus Green, on the bench.
Maybe
because we'll see. I think Fergus Green is also playing key forward, but he's playing for Hawthorn, who is not going to be as good as North Melbourne this year. Hawthorn, their midfield is very, very young, whereas I think North's midfield is actually quite good. now that you've got Phillips who's dominating and Cunnington is back. LDU has taken that next step in his career. I think, Combin's going to have more supply than a guy like Green is for Hawthorn. So if you're really looking to put a 123k rookie and you're interested in picking Green, from what I've seen so far in this game in this first half, Combin has been marking everything that's coming his way. And I think he's going to have a lot more supply than Green is. So I'd actually lean towards Combin at this point.
So Ben Cunnington looks like he's in the yellow team. Obviously, he was in the other team at the moment. Tom Powell and a few others as well have been moved across so far. So
did you just assume that Cunnington's in the yellow team because he's bold now? Because you saw a bold guy?
There's two bold players playing. They're both in yellow.
Okay.
They're both there. There he is. Look, Cunnington.
There he is.
See?
He has to. He's been too dominant in the blue team, so they have to even it up a little bit. Because they've got both Cunnington and Phillips. They've just been getting every clearance. So it's not giving the yellow team a chance. So I think it's very understandable. And this is great. This is more intel that we can get to see how Phillips will do against a midfield gun bull like Cunnington. So he didn't have the biggest competition before.
Yeah.
His competition was fairly easy before in the first half with Cunnington on his team and LDU on his team. But now I'd like to see how he matches up against a guy like Cunnington. Should be good. And we are still on Zeeble watch, ladies and gentlemen. Phillips is still in the blue team, which is cool. Luke McDonald, what's he priced at?
Feels like a trap, man.
487k. Yeah, that's
he won't be top. At that price, you want him to be like a top player. I don't think he'll be there.
Yeah, he's more expensive. He's more expensive than an Ed Richards, who
there you go.
I rate quite highly. I wish I could see some intra-club match for the Bulldogs and because Ed Richards, all he's missing are the kick-ins. If Ed Richards could cement himself some kick-ins, then this guy is a lock in my team, bro, for that price. But only time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, so it's looking like Goda might not even be best. We'll just wait and see.
Yeah, I've taken out of my team.
Someone like Perez probably looks a bit closer to, maybe not closer to the spot, but could end up being there. We're not sure why Goda's out, so Goda might be number one, and then that kind of thing. LDU's been good. I don't think he's been as dominant as what we're thinking, but the yellow team's tackle from the midfield haven't been bad either. So wait till next week when we actually play a different team, because I think sometimes with these intra-clubs, players don't like to go as hard as what they would versus another squad. So we'll just wait and see for that. He's been good, but just kind of not that number one best player like Sam Walsh versus reserves would kind of be.
I've always had, LDU obviously was really tempting how he ended the season last year. But that was without Cunnington. And Cunnington today is showing us that he well and truly still has it in him.
Yeah.
And that was also without Phillips, who is also showing us that this guy's going to be a mainstay in that centre bounce group. So I just think there are enough question marks on LDU that I'm happy to not have him yet, and just keep watching. I'm more set on a guy like Tom Green, who I know is 100% going to be the main man in the middle, and a guy like Mitchell Titch, who again is guaranteed to be in the middle. He's going to be their clearance winner. So these are guys that I'm more, sold on, and I have more certainty about.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right.
All right. Looks like we're finally getting back underway. Oh, thank you, Med. I like this information. Apparently, Adele took most of the kick-ins in the Intraclub for the strong team yesterday, according to Dog's Big Footy. Thank you very much for that. Dale, yeah. The relationship between Dale and Richards is a really interesting one.
It's very true. The only problem I got with Dale is he seems to lose his role halfway through a game.
Exactly. Like I it's too nerve-wracking. There's too many question marks over how freaking Bevo sets up his team, man. Bevo's such an enigma. Bloody hell.
So Phillips in the middle, Cunnington in the middle.
Phillips contested handball, clearance, Cunnington tackle. Yeah. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. Oh, Zeebel's in there. Interesting. Zeebel he's really pushing up off halfback, man. Zeebel. He's really being aggressive with his positioning.
I think now it feels a bit more like they're doing a defense versus a forward line, and making the midfield a bit more even as well. I feel like that's what they're going to try and do now.
Oh, good tackle. Good tackling. Trying to spin out of it. Holding the ball. Well done. Who's this with the ball?
VFL skipper.
VFL skipper? That was great.
Yeah. Not the AFL listed players. That's why
that was not great. I can see why he's in the VFL now.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, Coleman Jones is going to be an interesting one. I feel like Clarkie's number one, but Coleman and Coleman Jones might end up pushing each other a little bit for the second spot. If you can get fit, I think there's space there for him. We might even try and run 3 talls and have him like on the bench if he's mobile enough to be able to do the job.
That's right. I forgot about CCJ's existence.
Yeah, he's one that people forget about, but he's going to be there.
All right, so that probably means that Fergus Green has a better job security then, right?
Maybe. We'll see. I would, if I can avoid it, I won't be picking either. I think for 60K more, Ben King's probably a better position.
Yeah, he's locked in.
But if you have to. But he's a North Melbourne player, so if you don't pick the North players, you're in trouble. And that's why that's why he was picked too. So
Jeez. That was nice by Sheezel. He's got good size on him too.
He's a good player.
And the Caulfield suburbs erupt. Very nice check side. I love it. Okay, let's have a look at this centre bounce now. Phillips again in there. Cunnington in there for the yellow. Beautiful, beautiful. And again, looking forward to see Zeebel push up from half back if he does it again, or if it's McDonald this time. No. Wait, he's playing. There he is. Yeah. Yeah, he was in the center square when that ball was kicked in. He is playing really aggressive with his positioning. I don't like it, man. He is going to be caught out of position so much. He's going to be caught in no man's land so much. It's too much of a gamble. Nah, I've seen enough. I don't like it.
Thanks to the 28 people that are watching at the moment. Really appreciate that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to chuck it in the live games chat, and we're featuring it on the channel at the moment. So we'll answer any questions you guys have, either about this game or Supercoach players or kind of AFL in general. Happy to answer your questions, guys.
But I do have to apologize for you guys who just came in to watch and see that abysmal set shot on goal where it missed by so much on the full. It's a North Melbourne game at the end of the day, guys.
That's why it's the yellow team.
You can't expect too much from North Melbourne, guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's not fair. Remember, today's not necessarily about skills, it's about positioning.
Correct.
And who's playing where, that kind of thing.
Good forward pressure, at least.
Would have been nice to see the likes of Josh Goda playing today, but unfortunately, I think he's out of the game. Maybe illness, maybe something else. I don't think there's been any confirmation of an injury, that kind of thing. So, Perez looks a bit lighter on his feet.
I really want to know why Goda's not playing.
See if you can find something. They'll probably post it on Twitter. Cunnington got knackered by Phillips. Holy moly.
Phillips, let's go. Love Phillips.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Big North supporter. If I wasn't doing the stream today, I'd likely be down there watching. They're doing the family day after North Melbourne, so after the Intraclub today.
Yeah,
Which team do you go for?
I wouldn't be teasing North Melbourne as much if Big J wasn't a supporter. Don't worry.
Oh, that's a bit of a high tackle there, Goldie. Look at that.
Trying to see if I can
cherry hanging off him. Oh, Cunnington.
Why is Shizzle not playing?
Cunnington around the middle really looks good.
Yeah, he does. He looks really good.
I think he's probably on about 80% CBAs across both teams. So,
yeah. And Phillips is like a 90. Where is Gota? They haven't posted on Twitter as to why Gota's not playing.
Yeah, fair enough. There was Drury. Number 41.
Nice. No news on Gota. I don't like this mystery nonsense. Tell us why he's not playing.
I reckon he just slept in.
That can't be the excuse, Big J.
Why not?
Impressing the most? It's got to be Phillips. Phillips 100% impressing the most, as is
Phillips, and then Cunnington second, and then probably Comben third. The Supercoach options, I guess, would be those three.
I have heard that too, Rob, but I haven't seen it, unfortunately. It looks like they're trying to move the ball quickly. They're not switching the play up at all. They are moving the ball very fast. Very, very fast. Zeebul's only had like 3 touches, probably. Not a fan of the role. He's too committed. He's not playing that proper halfback. He's playing that extra number, trying to come in off halfback to influence the stoppage. Yeah, it really was nice transit. You're right. It's you can see that they're trying to move the ball quickly. They want the territory, and they want to apply a lot of front half pressure and lock it in. So yeah, I don't see how Zeeble is going to get a lot of scores, unfortunately.
Yeah, it definitely won't be. As I said at the start, it won't be the Hall and Zeeble show like it was a couple of years ago, where we try and lock down the ball in the defensive 50. This is going to be kick and go, and I don't think Zeeble's quick enough. there'll be times when he has good scores, gets a few intercepts, that kind of thing. But he won't be the consistent 100 scorer that you're really looking for.
Oh, that was nice by Goldie. LDU, play for the ball, not the free kick, mate.
I mean, that was just Sheasel kicking the ball out of the middle as well. So, Paul Curtis, man. Oi. Yeah. Paul Curtis is fantastic. Yeah. And we said that as well earlier, was like, wait for Zeebel's confirmation, I guess, when we start playing the intra-club matches against Richmond as well and the other team. Just kind of see what it is. It's hard when you've got teams that are fairly even. Well, they're trying to be fairly even playing against each other.
See, look where he is. Look how high up the ground Zeeble is there. Like,
yeah.
He was almost about to tackle him on a wing. Like, his positioning is so aggressive. Even when the ball is in dispute, like it's not even clear, for example, the ball's on the ground being run, but he still is up there.
Yeah, Sheasel's going to be a good player.
He's great.
Wardlaw as well, when he gets on the park, he's going to be pretty great too.
CCJ, nice grab. Suvalaki.
Man, look at the height difference between those two players. He has to do something, otherwise Lucky's just going to dominate. It's almost up to his shoulders.
Yeah.
And Larky's only going to become a better player with good delivery into that forward 50. He's one who's really going to benefit from that. Him in Comben, and potentially CCJ as well, but those two players.
Yeah, Rob, I understand you can't get a kick if the yellow can't score, but that is particularly the case if he's playing as that traditional stay-at-home intercept defender. If he's not getting the supply, then he won't get kicks. I understand, but he's being so aggressive with his positioning that very often you're seeing him up on a wing almost, and pushing up into stoppages off half back. So he is trying to get himself involved in the play, and the ball might be nearby, but they have so many distributors now that they're not necessarily going to him to kick. Yeah. They're not looking for him, even when he's in and around the ball. So it's not like he's playing at home stuck at defense. He's pushing up and still not getting a hold of it. That's my concern.
There's LDU. Oh, that's a bit harsh.
That is pretty harsh.
Yeah. I had another comment there. Yeah, there you go.
Pitternet, mate. What do you reckon?
It's interesting. There's been some talk of him. Obviously, he did quite well, I think, when he was the number one ruck at Carlton. It's really a pick that no one's kind of talked about. Maybe something like a Draper, where both of them are cheaper prices, that kind of thing. Definitely wait and see. Maybe wait and see to see what wait and see for the preseason matches to try and figure out his role along with Connie. If he's the number one, he could definitely be an option. I know that Cripps looks a lot better with him in the team than what DeConning does.
Oh, for sure. I mean, with Pitternet in the team, Cripps scores like 25 points better on average. So yeah, I think Pitternet is a great great help to the guys like Cripps, for example. But in terms of him and scoring at 386K, I mean, what has he averaged historically? I mean, he's averaged 70 in last year, 85, 78, 72, 54. There's
a lot of people watching today.
Yeah, so look, he hasn't got a lot of great scoring to him. The question, I suppose, for you would be, do you reckon he's got more upside? Do you reckon he's got more upside than a Draper, for example?
Or a Marshall at 100K more, who's proven who will be the number one who looks to be dominating like everything at the moment. Oh, that's a waste.
I'm going to guess it's Nick Nat Rob.
Either Nick Nat or Riley O'Brien, I think, is probably going to be the two.
Oh, not Riley O'Brien. I watched that Intraclub yesterday. It was not good. He was beaten by Riley Thilthorpe.
The second in charge as well, straight. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. Strawn, maybe. He was fairly good too, from what I've seen.
Yeah. I wouldn't go Rob, unfortunately. Cunnington, let's go. Oh, I got Teakle. Yeah, Teakle was good yesterday. I'm not going to lie. He was good. But Hayes was also really good. And Lysette wasn't too bad himself. So I just feel like it's too nerve-wracking, man, when you got 3 viable ruckman options.
Yeah.
And Finlayson still to come back as well.
And Lysette might just come. Hinkley might just be like, yep, chuck Lysette in there for the first couple of weeks. And if he's no good, then we'll swap him out later. You really don't want to have a donut there or someone who potentially could get some real low minutes in the top position.
Yeah, I think Lysette was the best ruckman in the Intraclub. I think he showed the most, and he was of a lot of benefit and support around the grounds as well. I think Lysette is still their number one. Vicentini is doing everything he can to really push for a selection. Hayes was okay. Teakle was all right. They've got so much tall timber, man, that can pinch hit. It's too nerve-wracking for me to select one of them. Nice. Phillips clearance, but turnover. Yeah, Phillips is a mainstay, man. He is looking the goods in that midfield mix. Where's Zeeble? This is their halfback. That's McDonald.
McDonald's been a lot more active than Zeeble has.
Absolutely, McDonald's been more active than Zeeble. See, where is he? Where's Zeeble to be the outlet kick, to be the distributor?
You know what to be saying. Perez has taken a lot more of those shots today than what Zeeble has.
100%. 100%. Zeeble's been nigh non-existent.
That was a fantastic kick. Look at that.
That was great, yeah.
Who's there though? Oof,
Zeeble's got to be on the bench, I think, at this point.
Maybe. We'll see.
Because I don't see him. Against McDonald.
There's Drury.
Good grab.
There was some footage earlier. I'll see if I can post it up a bit later. But of LDU and a couple of the other players doing some jiu-jitsu training, learning how to use their hips and things like that to pick up the balls off the ground. It looks pretty cool.
Not bad at all. So still got 7 odd minutes in this quarter.
Yeah, and then 1 more to go.
Scoring has really dried up now that the teams are a bit more even, which is understandable.
I mean, yellow team hasn't scored anything, and blue team scored like 3 goals. So it's not as great, but yeah.
Okay. Yep. So there's Phillips and there's Cunnington in the front. Nice tackle by Cunnington. Yeah, Zeeble's got to be on the bench. I don't see him.
One of the things that can be said about giving up I think that's Josh Gibson too. One of the things that can be said about giving up the captaincy at like being 31, 32 is that you generally do it so you don't have to be the number one required player every week and having to play, unless you're barring injuries. So that could be something that ends up happening with Siebel, is that he might have games where he misses out because he's not the best player in our defense anymore, or the captain, being forced to be played, similar to like a Heckler, that kind of thing. Yes, they'll play, but Luke McDonald's taken almost every kick out for the Blues at the moment.
That's right.
Rocky Young, that kind of thing. Siebel's not even there, so can't play half an intra-club.
No. If in your intra-club you're not taking kick-ins, man, what's going to happen against other teams? Yeah,
exactly. Maybe he's playing forward, maybe he's somewhere else, but he's not evident on the screen. So.
Bro, Cunnington, let's go. Look at this. Oh,
told you, man. Told you.
Bro, Cunnington was great. He grabbed the ball. He bumped the guy off the ball, picked the ball, weaved through 3 people. Beautiful floating pass. And another McDonald's kick in. Bro, McDonald, mate. What's your price?
I don't think he's an option at the price. That's the only problem.
$480K.
I won't be picking him over Nick Dacos. Sorry, I know we're talking about Cunnington. I had Luke McDonald stuck in my head. Cunnington looks fantastic. It's just about the weird, awkward price. That's all.
It won't be weird, awkward price in 6 weeks' time.
No, it won't be. He'll be why have I not got this premium screen 1/3 every week?
Exactly. If this guy's playing in the guts, on the ball, delivering the ball, and then resting 4 kicking goals, mate.
As we've said in the past, the only problem is that we will get some midfielders with DPP. So going 4 or 5 deep in that forward line does offer some risks and does have some negatives there. But to start with, you could do a lot worse.
Man, when those DPP come in, you can then upgrade him to someone else.
That's true.
Another McDonald kick in.
At $400K across any line, I don't know if there's a better pick than Cunnington at the moment.
No.
Maybe a Draper just because he plays ruck. But like outside of that, there he is, the great man.
Where the F is Siebel?
He's gone home.
He probably has.
I reckon they put him forward.
Well, the ball's not getting there, so we can't see it. Oh, that was not great. Broken tackle, not great.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about these intra-clubs as well is that when I've watched training, it's been a lot more competitive because we've had VFL people in.
Who's marked the ball?
And it's only going to get better with the VFL team getting better too. Creates that consistency, that kind of thing. There he is. There's the big boy.
Ben Cunnington! I love this guy.
This is what we're saying, People say Cunnington forward's a bad idea. And I say, hey, how are you going to push out a contested beast from a contest? Unless you're 20 centimeters taller, it's not going to be that easy.
Does he convert? Show us the goal, please. Show us the sticks.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Get him in, boys. No, too premature. Am I starting Cunnington? Mate, I am going down from Butters to Cunnington. Yes, I am. I will be starting him. Butters has his AC joint issue, and I can't pay up that much money for someone who I don't think is going to be 100%. I mean, I saw what happened with Steele last year when he did his AC joint. He didn't come back the same. I saw what happened to Dunkley the year before when he did his AC joint. Didn't come back the same. I'm not taking the risk. I think going down to a Cunnington at F5, so good, especially if people are going Siebel at F5, which I'm sure a lot more people are. I know Chris from Supercoach Insider has him at F5, and I know
Abs has him as well.
At F5, yeah. I just think paying 50K extra for
There's Zeeble now.
Cunnington is worth it. Yeah, so Zeeble must have been on the bench.
There's Phillips. Phillips.
Yes, Phillips.
There's Zeeble's like 5th touch of the day. Oh, that's not 50. How is that 50? What a joke.
I think it's because they've changed the timing that they've given, that the umpires will give people manning the mark. No?
Nah, I think it was just a bad call. I don't even think the guy on the mark moved.
He did. He went backwards.
Okay. I didn't see it.
He went back. He took like 5-6 steps back.
I want him to miss and then have to reset all the spots again. Because all the players have gone back to the centre bounce.
All the players are on our channel. Well done, Zeeble. Well done, Zeeble. Yeah, F5 is a really... If you watch Ab's Magic, you look at the Supercoach Godfather, he's right in terms of F5 is a really tricky spot to fill, as is M6, as is D4. These spots, and your R2, of course. These are the trickiest spots to fill this year. And it makes sense why F5 is tough to select, because the mid prices, they are really shady. They are really shifty. If you watch my team as well, my team reveal, where I explain why I've gone so deep in the forward line, I think Abs also is of that same view, because you can't have guys like Fife or Allen or people that are going to be playing predominantly forward. There's too many question marks over them, and you don't know how they're going to score. You want people who are either mids or playing at half-back. So for me, that's all playing ruck. And so having a guy like Cunnington at F5, I think he's going to outscore his price point. I think he will definitely average in the 90s because his role is so good. His role has him playing at the centre bounces and then pushing forward and kicking goals. So
that's the thing too, is at a 90 price point, he's valued at 500k or just a little bit over. So coming in at 415, even if he doesn't end up being a keeper all year, you're getting 100k almost out of the pick. And that's only at a 90. That's not at the 100 plus that he's done 3 years in a row, barring last year.
Yeah. And it's not only am I getting his money, I'm also getting the points. Because imagine having a guy at F5 being him, right, getting me 90 to 100, and then you compare that to an Oscar Allen who might be giving me 60 on average every week. I'm getting 30 to 70 points up on that position every week until I upgrade him to a primo forward or a DPP mid that has gained forward status, or ruck, like we could really see this year. So I think him at that price, at that like mid-pricer point, yeah, it's an awkward price and it's a deep forward line, but it is really setting me up to get more points at that position and upgrade to an Uber later down the track.
Thoughts on Rory Laird, Joe?
I might name my son Rory, my first son Rory, in honor of this guy. I hold this man in tremendous esteem, and I think this guy is criminally underrated. The disrespect that this man is being subjected to during this preseason, it is unbelievable. Like, why is this guy, whose lowest score last year was 93, he is only like 3K more expensive than Clary? Why does Clary have 46% ownership and Laird only has 10, 11% ownership?
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Especially when Oliver's coming, like, still got injury problems.
Like, he's been struggling with his thumb this preseason because he had to have surgery on it. You compare that to Laird, who has no injury concerns. You've got a more stacked midfield for Melbourne, less stacked for Adelaide. You've got a ruckman now for Melbourne in Grundy, who basically is an extra midfielder as well, compared to in Adelaide, their ruck isn't going to dominate and serve as an extra midfielder on ground level. Laird plays better at home, and 8 of his 13 first games are at home. He had exactly, yes, Med, what he says. Read that comment, bro. He had at least, he was taking the P155 yesterday. He did not leave second gear. He was taking it super easy, and he just was an absolute clearance machine whilst taking it easy. So, man, I think this guy, I love him. I absolutely love him, and I hope not too many people watch or share or talk to each other about it. Tell everyone, yeah, go Clary. Go Clary. Higher ceiling, lower floor. When you're starting a player, you want someone who has a higher floor because they will not drop in price as much. They will hold their value better throughout the course of the season. But if you're picking someone who has a higher ceiling but a lower floor, I could very easily trade him in later down the track after he has one of those poor games with his lowest ceiling. So if I'm looking to start one, I pick the safer one, and then I aim when to get the more volatile one. Oh, Big J, look who's in the chat. Look who's watching. Anthony. Oh, love you, bro. I am so proud of you. We are so proud of you, Anthony. Guys, oh my God. Oh my God. Google his name. If you guys are watching this, Google his name. Google him. You will know who it is. Congratulations, my boy. Congratulations, man.
Oh, man.
It is awesome. What else does Matt say? I agree. Should be the big four as locks. Going a 50 minute potentially robs you of around 60 pp. Kindness might be the compromise. Yes, Med. We are on the same page. And yes, well done. Champman. Champman knows. Champman knows. Congratulations. Yes. Anthony joined the Sainers. He had four training sessions to impress. He only needed 2.
And I heard you did really well yesterday as well in the not intra-club game, but in the intra-club game as well. They were talking you up on SEN and a few of the other channels. So.
The Hammer. The Hammer. The new plugger for the Saints. Yes, Med. Oh, Med, I love you. I love this guy. I absolutely, he's sensational. Yeah, man. I got you in my team, bro. I got you in my team. If you watch my video, you're there. You're there at F8. I have high hopes for you. The St. Kilda forwards keep dropping like flies, bro. You are. Please stay healthy. Please stay healthy as much as you can. Oh, man. And thanks, guys, all for watching. 36 people. I don't think North Melbourne has ever seen so many people watch a game from home before.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Only helps to benefit us, and hopefully you guys can get some benefits from our insights and things like that as well.
We have definitely been on Zeeble watch, and we have not liked what we have seen thus far. Definitely been very impressed with Phillips. Definitely been very impressed with Cunnington. Combin's had some good moments as well. McDonald's been taking just about all of the kick-ins for North Melbourne, even when he's on the same team as Zeeble. Zeeble's been playing very aggressive with his positioning. He is not playing that traditional intercepting role. He seems to be trying to be an extra number at stoppages. He seems to be really trying to push up the ground, be really aggressive in his positioning. And North Melbourne are not playing that kick switching game style. North Melbourne
push up the forward line.
Yeah, it's quick transition, it's quick movement, it's trying to lock it in, gain territory, and lock it in the forward line with repeat entries. So, yeah, it's not promising as a role. It's not promising for Zeeble. Obviously, it's an intra-club, and obviously there's still a bit more to play out. But for this first hit out where we are watching it, we are not really impressed. So yeah, if you have any other questions about players, Drury's been okay. Hasn't really set the world alight. He's been fairly quiet, to be honest. But he has had a couple of moments during the game. So yeah, if you have any other questions, guys, about other players here or what we've been hearing about others that aren't North Melbourne related, please feel free to ask in the comments. Okay. So Cunnington's back on the blue team.
Yeah. Oh, let me
and he's at the centre bounce. I don't know what they're waiting for. Has Phillips gone onto the yellow? No. Where's Phillips?
Let's wait and see.
Come on, guys. Are they giving you an infringement for 666?
In the Intraclub game.
In the Intraclub. Well done, North. Well done. Oh, that's high. How's LDU been so far? Haven't been my team. I've been able to watch this match up until this point. Yeah, champ, man. LDU's been okay without dominating. It's interesting the way he's playing. He has been in and around the stoppages and been attending the centre bounces, but he seems to be having an interesting dynamic with Phillips and with Cunnington and Simpkin at various points in time. He seems to be wanting to be the receiver. He doesn't seem to be wanting to be the first person to be in and under, get the ball. He seems to be really, I think he wants to be almost like the Parish for the merit and be the receiver from a guy like Phillips or Cunnington who could be serving as the Parish, getting that first handball out, receiving the ball, and then using his burst to break out, to break free. So he's been okay. He's been in and around it. He hasn't set the world on fire, that's for sure. But he certainly hasn't been bad either. I definitely think that this guy here on screen right now with the ball, Cunnington, with a 3-4, with a beautiful tackle, he's definitely been much more prominent in this game. LDU, man, he's an interesting one. He's definitely still more of a wait and see, especially how they match up against Richmond next week. That will definitely be more important to gauge. Okay. I'll hold faith. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Champman. That's he should be the one doing that. But Cunnington and Phillips, these two have been doing so well in that role today so far. And these are people that weren't playing in the back half of last year when Cunnington had that big run. So we haven't seen high scores out of Cunnington with those two in the midfield mix. So I can understand why you'll hold the faith. Obviously, it's just an intra-club first hit out. There's definitely more to see in the weeks to come. But so far today, it hasn't been the best. I'll just say that. See, there's Cunnington in and under then again.
Yeah.
And there's Simpkin. See, there's Cunnington. There he is, LDU, just hanging back. Is that Zeeble? No, it's not Zeeble. Where's Zeeble? Zeeble, there he is. Zeeble's on a wing, bro.
He's pushing up. He's pushing up the ground.
He's pushing up the ground so much. I don't like it.
Conlon just knocked someone out.
As you do.
That's it. If he's going to be playing on Stephen May every week, you got to get some physicality early.
Speaking of Stephen May, bro, Anthony's going to be up against Stephen May in very soon. Good luck with that, my friend. Cunnington. Contested handball. Let's go. Cunnington.
Is that another goal for the big Cunnington?
Another goal for Cunnington.
Oh, Cunnington goal.
Get him in here. Get him in the side. Welcome to the side, Benny boy. Ho, ho, ho. The bold wonder. You'll love to see it. Oh man, one of the good stories of last year, having him come back from his testicular cancer. Well done, man. That is not easy. Not an easy thing to do. That might be like his first stint on the bench, bro. Like I've hardly ever seen him go on the bench. This has been a terrific hit out for him. How many goals has he kicked? 2 or 3?
Three so far.
Goals, yeah. 3 goals to Cunnington.
2 in the forward line. 2 is like a forward line person, and then one somewhere else, like just that one.
Yeah. So, man, I love this role, bro.
Yeah.
Primarily centre bounce.
Yeah.
Primarily centre bounce, and then pushing forward. It's very good.
Like 2 years ago, we did it against St Kilda with Cunnington, kind of being that guy that would rest forward a little bit. It worked out really well. It didn't last. I think Cunnington got injured or something, but kind of the start of like what Reshaw was doing. It works fantastic for him. These older, mature guys, you'll see it with Boak as well this year, kind of midfield time, but resting forward.
That was the first time, just there, in that play, was the first time Zeeble had an opportunity to float across and take an intercept mark. Yeah. He stumbles. He stumbles. He doesn't have that athleticism.
The back line.
I'm not. Yeah, nah. I think I've seen enough, bro. I'm not going Zeeble.
50K more. You pick him. You pick Cunnington.
Yeah, for sure. From what I've seen today, even then, like when the yellow team managed to go inside 50 quickly, he was too pushed up. Again, in no man's land. They just passed the ball over him. And then he had to work his way back to receive the ball. But now he's under the pump. So he had to handball off to someone else to do an exit kick. He's not...
Yeah, and look, Cunnington's back in the middle again with Phillips.
Look at him, bro. Look at him. Pay up.
Barring injury, Cunnington at that price is very, very good.
Pay up. Look at him. You can't tackle
handball clearance done.
You can't tackle the man.
That's like 8 points.
Pay up. F5 too deep. My ass, bro. Cunnington is worth it.
Oh, young, unlucky.
Not paid.
Lean it. It was a good pickup. They shouldn't have got rid
Cunnington
of him.
almost intercepted.
Yeah, lovely hand.
Where was Zeeble? This person had to be Zeeble.
Yeah.
To make him be a really good pick.
Yeah.
This number 8 had to be Zeeble. Zeeble had to have that positioning, but he's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, he's not there. He's stuck in the middle somewhere.
And that for me,
there he is down the bottom.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the ground. That for me is like, this is not a suitable role. This is not an interceptor / distributor. This is not what is going to get me consistent Supercoach scoring. I'm not judging him on his play today. I'm just specifically talking about the role at this point. The role is not something that is... Yeah, exactly. Yes, Med. He's way too far up the ground. He's playing way too aggressive of a role. It's almost like he wants to be an extra handball or just to be a quick kick out of a clearance. He's going to have a lot of turnovers that way as well. I'm not a fan at all.
Oof, that was a hard mark. So hard tackle.
I think at this point, if you're willing to pay up for an F5, you either look at a Ben Long or you pay the extra 50K to get Cunnington. But from what I can see, I really like Cunnington's role, and his output today has been sensational.
Even if you don't run him in the forward line, run him in the midfield. Swap him out later. If you can't afford a Tom Mitchell or someone like that because you don't have enough money, quick downgrade to a Cunnington could end up almost being at the same price, same scoring output, type similar player at 100k cheaper.
And also what I've really liked about Cunnington that I don't think we've touched on enough is that he's actually also been playing. He also had a stint where he played for the weaker team, where he was the clear number one midfielder on the weaker team, playing against the rest of the regulars, and he still did really well against them. Yeah. So, I'm convinced. I'd love to see how his interaction now with Constable, with the news that Constable is going to be playing a predominant halfback as well. That's something to keep an eye on. But from what I can see with my own eyes so far, Cunnington is definitely a much more viable option than Zeeble at F5.
And you can always just pick Constable as a midfielder anyway, or defensive bench type player if you're looking for that.
Correct. All right, I think I've seen enough of him.
You'd love Cunnington to play a full season at that, but if he comes into the season fit, he could be a real option for the first 8 or 9 games until you're looking to upgrade to an Uber Primo.
Exactly. You're looking to have your team done by the wires anyway.
Yeah.
So you don't need him to play a full season at this. You just want him to play like the first half of the season. And if he starts to slow down, by that point, he would have made us the money. And you never know. By round 6, we could have a Gorn in the forward line or a Shrek in the forward line. See, that was a Simpkin centre bounce ownership there. There was no LDU involved in that.
Yeah, there was no. I don't think Cunnington's there either.
And Cunnington wasn't there either, no. And that's my issue with having LDU as a pick. There's too many good players now in your midfield, which is crazy. You wouldn't have said that a couple of years ago, but you've got, Cunnington, LDU, Simpkin, Phillips. All 4 of these guys are genuine ball winners. Yeah, I think I saw Cunnington in the forward line. He's resting up forward now.
Yeah.
That was Zeeble. Pushed all the way up almost to the center bounce, trying to put pressure on the kicker. That is the worst role in football, I would have to say. That is a very sacrificial role. He is taking himself out of the play just to try and to put off the kick. Nah, man. Oh, yeah, nah. I'm good, thanks. Wait, what number was Drury again? Hello, Big J. What number was Drury again?
41.
That was his kick now to Cunnington, so he could have a score of 6. But I think the players are knackered at this point. Cunnington was clearly out in space, and I agree. Drury was able to run. Drury was good hard running and got a good kick with good depth to it. So,
yeah,
that's good. I like it.
And that's what he's been doing in training as well, doing that back pocket, but also setting up players. I'm surprised he's not being used as a number one kind of small forward, because that's basically what he was at junior level. But, I'm not the coach for a reason, right?
Yeah,
he's very clean with his hands. Very, very, very clean with his hands. Similar to what Caleb Daniel is like, really.
Yeah, and it was a good hit. I agree. That was great. Running at good speed. He had to put him he had to weight it well over the defender, and he did. So that was very promising by Drury. I really hope they try and use him more. Drury. F6 lock, not F8.
I don't think so.
We're talking about going deep going heavy in the forward line, not light. Oh, drop mark by Zeeble in the goal square. Oh, no, that's an omen. That is an omen, my friends. It was a terrible kick, I must admit, but oh boy, if you're superstitious, I'd stop watching. Drury, yes, my boy. Oh, I missed him though. Oh well.
That's right. That was Young's fault more than what Drury's was.
Yeah.
I think Griffin Logue's taken a break too.
All right, we're on Drury watch. Oh, nice. Cunnington on the ball. He's all the way back here now. There he is. Oh, he's been stripped of the ball. Oh no, he's caught holding the ball. That's gonna be.
He's not going to be happy about that.
No, that's a lot of points off. It's going to lead to a goal as well.
Delisted.
Delist him off the team. Get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's clearly tired, I think. He's played for the vast majority of this game. He has had next to no bench time because he's been resting forward. So this has been an awesome hit out for Cunnington, man. Oh, I'm so happy with what I've seen.
What would, if this was an official game, what would you see him scoring from this game? It's kind of my question.
Three goals, a bunch of marks,
a bunch of clearances, some other things.
A bunch of clearances, bro. This is over 100. This is like This is like 120-ish, bro. We're talking here.
Nah, I don't think that much. Maybe he's at least scoring 100 though.
He's had a couple of frees for with his tackles.
Yeah,
he has been laying tackles around the ground as well. Obviously contested clearance, bro, with 3 goals, and 3 of those goals were off marks as well. So, 2 of them were off marks. So he also gets points for the mark. So I think it's closer to 120. Yeah, and scoring chains, exactly. And he's had a couple of 4 assists.
I won't go too hard.
3 goals and 26 disposals.
That was a nice LDU tackle. He should have been given a 50 for that.
Why? They gave him the ball.
Nah, he was standing over it, stopping him the passage of play so all the other players could run back. That stuff's getting looked at, right? They're saying they're saying no. See you later.
If he's standing the mark, standing over it's not wrong.
Wow.
Oh,
what a dog call.
He pushed him.
Nah. It was an official contest.
He pushed him, bro. It's a free kick.
I know.
He pushed him. Okay. Oh, good smother.
Have you made it this far? Oh, yeah, there you go. I was going to say, have you made it this far?
Thanks
so much. Have a great day, yeah. It's probably night time where you are, so have a good one.
Been a pleasure, my friend.
I wonder if Anthony's still in the chat.
Who knows? There's nothing much to sing home about, to talk about when you're looking at North Melbourne, though. If you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all, right? Yeah. North Melbourne is shit. No, I'm just... Any other practice matches today? That's a good question. I think Geelong have one, don't they?
Yeah, you'll just have to go through each of the different teams' websites. I've tried to find something that shows you like each team just in general. I haven't really been able to. So we'll have a quick look. I know Adelaide and Brisbane have done theirs. I think Carlton maybe. Highs, I think maybe at the moment. We're saying Geelong. Let's have a quick look.
I think Port did theirs as well yesterday. Essendon did theirs on Thursday.
I know Geelong did a match sim. Just looking at their website, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, Hawthorn already did theirs as well.
I don't actually think the what am I saying? Yeah, I don't think the Bulldogs game actually got streamed. I think they played it, but it wasn't a live thing. They might have had some fans watching it, and that's where a lot of the reports have come from. But it wasn't like a streamed online thing like this one is.
Yeah, the Bulldogs already played theirs. They had freaking Caleb Daniel in the ruck because they had the ruckman in play that game.
It's a joke.
Oh yeah, Gold Coast already did their intra-club as well because they had the
It's common.
The hamstring tightness for two.
Yeah, for two.
So they already did that as well. Yeah.
Cogs to kind of see. We've been talking about this a little bit off stream. We might do a forward video, but we kind of feel like Cogs is a must-have anyway. So I'd be looking for cash somewhere else to bring in Cunners. I wouldn't necessarily downgrade him. If you think Cogs is going to be scoring like 100 average is only 550. So he's around that price anyway. I think he can do better than 100 average in a less congested midfield at GWS under the new coach. So he might actually be priced at, let's say, like a 600, but you only get him at 550. So I'd almost be looking for cash somewhere else to bring Cunnington in if that's someone that you're looking at versus downgrading a Cogs. Because Cogs is probably likely to be a top 6 forward anyway, barring like every good midfielder getting DPP stats.
Yeah.
You know, if Neil, Oliver, Laird, Petrarca, Bont all get DPP, then maybe Cogs is like 8th on the list instead of being top 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you need to have Cogs, especially with the news that he really impressed in their intra-club as well.
Yeah, and they'll be looking to him. They'll be looking for him to do a lot more this year. I'd be a little bit wary. We're saying Reese. I'd be a little bit wary of having a key forward who wasn't Ben King on field, just for the availability of and the distribution of him getting the ball. So Green is a good bench player, I reckon. He'll have good games and bad games, but you really want that consistent scoring as close as you can on field. So maybe Green for the bench if you can, and then upgrade somewhere else to give you a good F6 player. The way I'm looking at it now, you could almost go Flanders F6, run Dunkley, Cogs, Taranto, Rosie, Cunnington, and then Flanders at F6. You'd be pretty happy if you had that.
Yeah. It would just be a shame that you're not fielding McLean. You'd probably have to have McLean
put him in the midfield.
You
have to give up somewhere else.
Yeah, you have to put him
chuck him in the midfield.
Yeah, I have a bit to watch.
Most people I've seen are running like 4 premiums plus some mid prices, so McLean works that way.
Yeah,
but I agree. He's a player that you want to have on field, not on the bench if you can.
Thoughts on this one, Big J, for Rob? Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Personally, I'm not a fan of this. Yeah. Rob, it's I think Dacos is from the who are you going up to? So you've gone Dacos down all the way down to Caulfield. So you free up 300 odd K to get what a basement price rookie up to up to Cunnington. I wouldn't want to be fielding any basement rookies in the forward line anyway. I would try and avoid fielding rookies on field at all costs all over the place. I think the cheapest rookie on field that I've got is Jinby at 171K because of the role that he's going to play, the good reports coming out for him as well, being that he's going to be a midfielder and halfback rotating player. I definitely wouldn't want to field too many rookies. You might have to go a bit mid-pricey somewhere, but you also have to look at where you're overcommitting your money. You probably don't. Yeah, I probably wouldn't justify going from Dacos all the way down to a Caulfield. I mean, I personally have both Dacos and Caulfield on my team. I think.
Yeah, you finish up and then I'll say what I'm going to say.
I was going to say, as Med says, a lot of people are going to go with the McLennan F6 option. Yeah.
The thing for me is that, as we've kind of said off stream, I'm not sure if we said it on the channel yet, but it really feels like the defensive line is the one that has a lot of opportunity this year. Maybe the first 4 or 5 guys actually locked in out of the top 8. So there's a lot of value at that 500K mark. It could be a top 8 keeper in your team. I would not be going and saying, hey, Nick Dacos, who could be a top 8 keeper, bring him into your team or kicking him out for another player, because he's only valued at like a 90, and you'd expect like a 105 kind of from him. So if you can get him at a lot cheaper now, that's what I'd be looking at. There's a lot of midfielders who I think are overpriced that a lot of people are picking. You can get it at a cheap price. So maybe look at downgrading one of those guys instead of getting rid of a player who's already underpriced now, who you're likely trying to bring in at some point.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling is you want to start as many keepers as you can, and not downgrading one for another one maybe isn't the best option. Yeah. How's Zeeble? What would you rate Zeeble, Joe? Give us your Zeeble feelings.
How's Zeeble being Jay Shaq? Who is Jay Shaq?
I think he thinks that you're Shaq. That's all right.
He thinks I'm Shaq.
I think
that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
What's
your final thoughts on Zeeble because the Intraclub's finished now?
I give Zeeble a 3 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh, he's Shaq. Ah, okay. Shaq's commenting.
Oh, Shaq, I love you, my boy. I'm Shaq. Shacky. Okay, good. I was so confused. I was wondering why would anyone think I'm the great Shaq? I'm not Shaq Stradamus. Nah, honestly, bro. Did not like Zeeble at all, bro. Did not like Zeeble at all, bro. He's not been good. His role, he took no kick-ins. It was all McDonald taking the kick-ins. There was no switching of the play. It was all fast transition movement. He wasn't playing the intercept defender. He was trying to be an extra number at stoppage. He would really push off halfback to get to the middle of the ground. And too often the ball would just go over his head or was pushed forward without his involvement. He probably only had like 5 touches for the entire match. And no kick-ins. It wasn't good. It really was it was a very bad performance so far. I did not like the role at all.
Yeah, it's a tough one because you wanted to pick him obviously from previous year's scoring, but as Joe said, the team's going to be moving the ball a lot faster than what we were 2 years ago under an experienced coach. I don't even know if Zeeble's going to be best 22 come like high or high, hell or high water, that kind of thing. If the backline players do a lot better, I don't think he's top 3 defender. You got McKay, Logue, probably Aiden Core in there, Hall or whoever on each of the flanks. I don't know where Zeeble really rolls in. He might play the first 3 or 4 games and then say, hey, you take a week off, take a couple of weeks off.
Yeah, I mean, McDonald, I did raise it. McDonald was getting a lot more of the ball. Yeah. It is just an intra-club, but yeah, literally all of the kick-ins, I think, except for maybe 1 or 2. McDonald took all of them. He had the monopoly on the kick-ins, even while he was on the same team as Zeeble. So I don't know in terms of how many disposals he got. I think you reckon he had maybe 15 odd disposals, or was that too much for McDonald?
Or McDonald or Zeeble?
McDonald.
Probably around that mark, maybe a little bit more. Kind of might have been used a little bit more in the transition. Obviously, blue team where he played majority games didn't have the ball in the back line as much, so you can't really value it, that way. But yeah, it's more role kind of thing as well.
Correct.
Role
dependent. I mean, he was playing for the dominant team and still got quite a bit of the ball and almost all the kick-ins. So his the role that he played, even though he was on the dominant team, was still really good. I definitely want to have a look at him again, and I will be on McDonald watch against Richmond next week. It's just that he's priced at a bit more than Ed Richards, and if Bailey Dale is taking the kick-ins at the Bulldogs, then I wouldn't look at Ed Richards anyway. If someone's taking kick-ins, man, that's a beautiful thing if you're taking kick-ins. What's this, Reese? Is there any more stream Intraclub matches today? Do you know, fellas? I don't know personally if there's any other intra-clubs. A lot of teams have done their intra-clubs, if not yesterday, then
on Thursday as well.
Yeah, and then there were quite a few clubs that didn't even share theirs. So I don't know if there's any other clubs today. I'll have to go through the list and try and find that information. But I don't have that.
There'll be a lot of clubs doing theirs on the weekend next week. But yeah, definitely at the moment, I couldn't find anything on websites. A lot of clubs putting out their information, maybe a Geelong or someone like that. But yeah, at the moment, I can't really find much with regards to those.
Yeah. You reckon Dom Sheed's a lock?
It's an interesting one. I would have said close to, I think Pies have just had theirs as well because they just posted club highlights from the Intraclub.
They had it yesterday, yeah.
Dom Sheed's an interesting one. I heard yesterday he didn't play at all. So I'm kind of wait and seeing with that. He was kind of the second or the third out of the Hopper, Warple, Sheed list. I think Yo's a lot better and has a much better role. So if I'm running let's say I'm running 4 premiums, right? 4 premiums, including your Tom Mitchells and your Greens, and I need to fill out the other spots. I'm trying to go maybe a Cunnington if he's not in the forward line. I'm going a Hopper in there, and then your generic Ashcroft and Phillips as the last 2. I don't know if Dom Sheed is that player yet. You've really got to wait for the intra-clubs. Sorry, wait for the scratch matches and the official ones to kind of get that gauge. But there's other people ahead of him in the mix for that price.
Yeah, I agree. And no worries, Med. Thank you so much for coming on and watching along with us. Glad you enjoyed the stream and, trying to make it, try to be a casual sort of thing. And we love our footy and, just trying to share our thoughts. And we like having, your engagement as well was really great. It was really, good fun. And we like to share our observations, man. So please, if we're able to have more of these, we'll definitely try. Obviously, a lot to do with whether we're allowed to, whether we're allowed to stream. Of course, during the course of the season, we won't be able to show the footage. We'd get shafted legally.
There's some legal requirements there. You've got to kind of navigate pretty quickly. So so just got to be careful.
These unofficial ones though are probably things that we can. We're probably planning on doing probably a bit more just commentary and maybe watch alongs as opposed to actually showing the stream in terms of our own views and our own discussions on the game. We'll probably be doing that a lot more during the season when the actual games start. But other unofficial scratch matches next week filmed. I think they will be. I
have a feeling. I haven't seen anything come out of it from North at the moment, but they are playing down at Arden Street. So obviously from today, you've seen that they've got the capacity to do that. They're a bit longer as well than your normal ones. So we'll wait and see during the week. But I think just doing the fan service, that kind of thing, it's pretty good if they do that for us.
Yeah. We probably, if they are recorded, if they are streamed, then we probably won't be able to do all of them, because I know on Thursday you got Geelong v
People have to
Hawthorn
work, right?
and Gold Coast v Essendon, but those start at 4:00, so we're still at work for that. And then on Friday you got North v Richmond at 10, Carlton v Collingwood at 11, Sydney v Brisbane at 12, St Kilda v Melbourne at 4. All of these games next week are taking place during work hours. So unfortunately, we won't be able to stream those. But we'll
maybe we can do some coverage. We'll see what we can do. Even if we pick a couple that we like that show some interesting things, we can, if they've been filmed, we can show them that kind of way. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
But we'll definitely have videos discussing what our thoughts are, and who's been playing really well in the preseason, in the intraclubs. Bringing some videos on who has impressed. So you definitely stay tuned for those. You're very welcome, Gary. Thank you so much for coming across today. It was great. Feel free to comment as well a bit more during the game with any views that you might have. We love to have the fan engagement. I get bored talking to Big J by myself all the time. I do like talking to other people like you and Mid and Reese. So of course Shaq and Anthony, the star of the show today. So thank you so much, guys, for coming on. We had a good time.
100%. Yeah, it's been great. Nice way to spend a Saturday morning, watching some footy, talking with the fans. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe our channel. We've got some more things coming out. Next week's going to be a big one. We've got like 100+ team reviews that we're going to try and go through everybody's. It's going to be a monster week on top of our normal things as well. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Yeah, you've absolutely bombarded us, but look, we do the hard work so you don't have to. Thanks so much for coming in, guys.
Yeah. Catch you in the next one, guys. Have a great Saturday. Try and get some great sun, obviously sunscreen, and we'll see you, this week sometime.